So of course, only as Ramadan starts, my ear decides to somehow contract an infection. It feels like Katy Perry had a live performance and I heard it. No, but for real, did y'all see that SNL performance? Katie, sweetheart, darling, you need to go back to gospel because you need the Lord. Anyways, shade aside, today I have a very exciting announcement video for y'all, and that is for the Library-A-Thon, a hashtag 2RAT event. 2RAT stands for the Readathon, which by now most of you would know is a readathon that I host along with a few other booktubers. It's a monthly readathon, and each month we do a different theme, and it's usually a very casual, laid-back, weekend-long readathon. But every now and again we decided that we should do a much grander week-long readathon with like challenges and stuff like that. So the first one of those will be happening in June from the 11th to the 18th, which is called the Library-A-Thon. So I actually came up with the idea of the Library-A-Thon because I had some library books that I borrowed since last year that are months overdue. Thank God my library doesn't charge that much overdue. So I thought that this would be the perfect opportunity for me to get to them. So the readathon is still being planned, but the date has already been set and we will be doing all of our social media announcements very soon. But I really wish that you all could take part because I think that this is going to be a really fun readathon, particularly because it involves going to your library and supporting your library, which not a lot of people have been doing these days. I'm not just talking about the booktube community, but society in general. Like, you go to the library and there's just not a lot of people there anymore, and I don't know, I just find it sad. We have one big library system called NALIS in Trinidad and Tobago, so there are NALIS libraries all over the place, and my absolute favorite one is of course the main one, which is in Port of Spain. Let me tell you, the adult library is lit, no pun intended. So I have some books out from there that I wanted to read, and I kind of tailored the challenges around those books, and I hope that you all like them as well. You don't have to do the challenges, of course, as with most readathons, but I just added them for a little bit of fun. So the first challenge is to borrow and read a backlist or popular book that you meant to read but just never got around to. For that one, I am going with Room by Emma Donoghue. This is a very popular book that I've heard of for a very long time. It came out in 2010, I believe. It's narrated by a little boy who is born to a captive woman, and for the first 5 years of his life, he lives in a room with his mother and he never leaves the room. So he thinks that all there is to the world is this particular room until I believe one day they're set free. This book has already gotten so much hype and so much awards because of that, and I'm looking forward to it. Challenge number 2 is to borrow and read a book by a very popular author that you haven't read as yet. For this one, I went with The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini because Khaled Hosseini is an author that I have been hearing so much about over the past few years. This, I think, is his first novel and it's definitely his most popular. However, I have no idea what it's about, but everybody loves it, so hopefully I love it too. The next challenge is to borrow and read a book that you've never heard about before. So you're just browsing through the library and you come across this one book that you've never seen before. Maybe the cover or the summary attracts you. For me, this was definitely The Memory of Love by Aminata Fauna. I was just browsing and I saw this book and it caught my eye, and I read the summary and it seemed like something I would be interested in. Right now I can't remember what the hell it was about, but I do know that it's set in Sierra Leone and I feel like it's something that I would like. I did hear a little bit about it after I borrowed it, and most people seem to like it, so hopefully, again, I like it too. Maybe, we'll see. Challenge number 4 is the only challenge that I won't be doing, and that is to ask the librarian for a recommendation. So just go up to them and be like, hey girl, what to read. If you are that antisocial and you are afraid to speak to your librarian, just ask a friend or somebody else for a recommendation. And the final challenge is to just read a book that you feel like reading. So maybe you go to the library and none of these challenges fit a particular book that you wanted to read. Just go ahead and borrow that one. For me, this was On Beauty by Zadie Smith. This is also one that I completely forgot what it's about, but I was reading the blurb and there was a Trinidadian character included in this book, and that is it. I think the main reason why I picked this up. It also kind of falls under the second challenge because I do really want to get into Zadie Smith because I've heard just amazing things about her writing, and I think she's also an author that I will really love. So those are the books that I will try to read, emphasis on try, for Library-A-Thon because it's a week long and those books are thick. Obviously, you don't have to complete all of the challenges and you can combine the challenges. Perhaps the librarian recommends a book that you never heard of before. Perhaps the book by the popular author is also the book that you've been meaning to read. Perhaps all of those books are books that you just felt like you wanted to read. So, take the liberty and combine the challenges. Do what you will. The most important thing is that you take part. I really, really hope that a few of you all come over and take part because I think this is going to be so much fun. Of course, we have social media accounts. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram, especially Twitter, Twitter, because that's where we will be giving out more announcements and more information about the Library-A-Thon. And we will have quite a few interactive fun things on Twitter, like Twitter sprints, which are always like, everybody loves the Readathon Twitter sprints because they're just very helpful to get people through the books, and I think that it will just be a lot of fun. I don't know how many times I've said that, but it's going to be fun. Anyways, that's it for this video. Again, I hope that you all take part. If you have any like thoughts on the books that I mentioned in this video, leave them in the comments down below. And for now, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have a lovely day, and until next time, inshallah, keep reading.